What if the roster we thought we valued was just a mirage, a painful illusion that masked the reality of our beloved Bears? Are we witnessing the beginning of a seismic shift in Hollis Hall, or are we adrift in the same dark waters that claimed past seasons? Hit that like button, subscribe for every heart-stopping update, and step to the edge with me. Are you ready to dive deep into the soul of the Chicago Bears in this uncertain off-season? Whispers are echoing from the shadows of the league, and inside sources are hinting at something profoundly unsettling. Players who were once touted as foundational pieces of our squad are now left searching for their next gig, while we're left grappling with the fallout. Rumors swirling around the league suggest that the exodus isn't just about injuries or bad luck. It's something that cuts deeper, at the very heart of our franchise. We've heard names, familiar faces, the kind that still churn memories of glory and disappointment. And it's hard not to ask, what does this mean for the future? Let's talk about Tevin Jenkins, our once beloved offensive lineman, now signed for a pocket-change $3 million with the Browns, and not even projected as a starter. Yes, you heard that right. Jenkins, a guy whose talent once had the potential to anchor our line like the greats of old, now reduced to a backup role. It's gut-wrenching. Injuries have ravaged his career, leaving him picked apart at the seams. And hearing his name this offseason feels like a bitter whisper of what might have been. Picture it. We were counting on this kid. He was supposed to fortify our offensive front, but now it's just another nail in the coffin of dreams unfulfilled. Then there's Coleman Shelton, the only free agent to snag a multi-year deal from last year's lineup 2 years. $12 million from the Rams. And yet, that's hardly a ringing endorsement. Wouldn't you expect at least one of these guys to grab a true chance at the spotlight? Instead, it seems like they're almost begging for relevance. Just think about it. In a league thriving on fresh talent, how is it that we're not seeing more of our former players make ripples elsewhere? Sounds like a desperate prayer, doesn't it? And how about Jack Sanborn, a special teams hero now wearing a Dallas Cowboys jersey for a meager $1.5 million? Texas may be big, but the reality is that our Bears just let him walk out the door somehow. It feels like a betrayal, doesn't it? This isn't just losing players. This is losing pieces of our very identity as a franchise that's long prided itself on toughness, grit, and loyalty. Each departure stings, but missing on our homegrown talent, that cuts deeper. Let's not forget Darrell Taylor, the Week 1 hero we thought we'd unearth. 1.5 sacks against the Titans, and then poof. Now he's a rotation guy for the Texans on a $4.75 million deal. And then there's Jacob Martin, part of a rotation we were banking on to produce when healthy cast aside, like yesterday's news at a measly deal with the Commanders. The franchise was willing to gamble on these players, but look at how little faith even the NFL seems to have in them now. Ask yourself, why couldn't we keep them around? What's wrong with our roster that everyone seems to be on the sidelines, looking out instead? And then it's the guys still roaming in free agency. While the others have found homes, the likes of Keenan Allen are out there puzzling us all, waiting for a phone call that might never come. The last echoes of 1,000-yard seasons seem like distant dreams now. If our own players can't find footing, how can we expect to build something new in the ruins of last year's mess? All this brings us back to one cold, hard fact. There's a reckoning on the horizon. As we sit here, sifting through our broken hopes and expectations, we've got to reckon with the reality overvaluing our roster. How could we have thought we held on to potential when, truthfully, we were clutching at shadows? The question spirals. Who from last year ever truly stepped up in the wake of legendary names like Peyton and Ehrlicher? The ghosts of Soldier Field loom larger than ever, mocking us as the raw truth sets in. We need a re-examination of what it means to be a Chicago Bear. Now, we yearn for change, for those bold moves that could take us back to glory. This new roster upgrade venture, the fresh coaching energy, they need to ignite a spark, light a fire in our beloved Soldier Field. Because let's face it, If we don't see tangible improvement, are we really any closer to the Bears' promise? The high-stakes scenarios are endless. Could our future success hinge on these very changes? Or is it just another leap into the void of uncertainty? As I sit here gearing up for what's next, one thing is painfully clear. The road ahead is foggy, and the ghosts of past choices linger. Amid this chaos, the question remains, if you could bring back one of these castaways, who would it be? What once felt like a future of promise now hangs in the balance. And while I might lean toward DeMarcus Walker for the defensive line depth, believing in a renaissance feels increasingly frail. This team, this franchise, it's entwined in our very identities. But brace yourselves, Bears fans. We're only scratching the surface of what's unraveling. What happens next will not just shape our season. It might redefine what it means to be a Chicago Bear in a league that seems to have moved on. Stay ready for part 2 because the truth is, we're only just beginning to explore how these choices will echo through time. Brace yourselves. The ride isn't over yet. Listen up, Bears Nation, because we're standing on a precipice here. The winds of change are howling through Hollis Hall, and we need to summon every ounce of grit we've got left. It's familiar, this dance of hope and despair, like the flickering lights of Soldier Field on a chilly Chicago night. The echoes of last-minute failures still haunting us, whispers of 2010 and 2018 clawing at our souls. But what if for once we break free from these chains? What if this isn't just another cycle of agony, but the birth of a new dynasty, ready to reclaim its rightful place in the pantheon of football royalty? Picture it. The locker room, the mix of excitement and tension palpable as if you could. Slice it with a knife, each player, a warrior on the brink of a new era, getting that taste of urgency. They felt it too, the pinprick of doubt dancing around the edges of their minds. But there's also the palpable electric surge of possibility, a sickening swirl of euphoria and fear. Roosevelt's rebuilding, but could he really make us forget the painful memories of past regimes? Would Eberflus' meticulous planning bring back that ferocity we associate with the legends of yore, the Singletaries, and the Ehrlichers? I swear, I can hear Hester's footsteps as he charges down that sideline, electrifying the crowd. But does this new crew have the makings of a similar legacy? Yet, we can't ignore the chatter outside our beloved Chicago bubble. The Packers see us struggling, smirking smugly with their storied history and their quarterbacks who never seem to age like fine wine. The Lions and Vikings like hyenas, circling, waiting for that moment to leap on our failures. We're just another notch on their belts if we don't rise up, if we don't turn this ship around. But here's the rub, folks. Imagine if we take the plunge and make a bold move. Does it mean finally wrestling back control from the abyss of mediocrity? Now fathom this. We're staring down the barrel of a season where every snap matters, where one fourth-quarter slip-up could send us spiraling into the calamitous waters of another lost campaign. Look, we've relived the 3 defensive touchdown games. We've watched the double doinks shatter our hopes into a million meaningless pieces. But what if our offense this year finally clicks? What if Fields, with that dazzling speed and raw talent we've waited eons to see blossom, pulls us from these shadows? We need to clutch at the memories of those glory days, the feel of that 1985 team that truly embodied what it meant to be Bears, tough, stout, resilient. But can we withstand the tides of change swirling around us now? There's an ominous feeling in the air. You could feel the doubt creeping in like the barren lake winds off Soldier Field in December, biting our very souls. Every drop pass starts echoing the ancient fears living within. Our tears of anguish may easily rain down if we allow it. But this time, let's turn it onto the field. Let's become a tempest, shaking the foundations of the NFC North. Or are we just destined to fracture like so many years before? My brothers and sisters, we are at a crossroads. Can you feel the icy fingers of uncertainty tightening around our throats as we ponder this pivotal moment? In this storm of emotions, which side do we choose? the one that embraces renewal or the one that shatters us anew? As the leaves begin to change and the season approaches, will we step into autumn with fire in our hearts or watch as another potential fades away into insignificance? Are we ready? Will we finally rise like the phoenix from the ashes of false dawns, or will we slip once more into the darkness that has haunted us far too long? Let's leave this bar with the fire of the lakefront sun in our hearts. It's time to make a choice.